Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. This is Lisa. We finished page 1. We're working on page 2 now. Yahoo! All right, you guys. Now, I did at the end of page 1 gave you your homework. So hopefully you did that. You pulled out some stickers. These are the ones that I'm using. Let's see, that one says St. Patrick's Day greetings, and then it's got the little girl with a basket, and then this one's got a little green hat so I've got those that I'm going to be using. Oh shoot, I forgot to put my tape. Oh, and where did I put my tape? Right here. Okay, get myself combobulated here. All right. Okay, I pulled out a scrap of black because we're going to make a pocket, but we may not use this. We may make a pocket a different way. And then I had you guys pull out a green or a lavender, whatever you were going to like. And then we're having the March papers. So you can pull out a green, a lavender, you know, something other than the craft, or a creamy color and a craft. You know, you can do whatever color on here that you would like to pull from. And of course then you have a little bit more better choice of colors on the back to line up with. Okay, so that is where we're at right now. I forgot I need to put this with page 1. So let's just slide that right in there. Isn't that cute? I love it. Love it. Okay. All right. So let's put our papers aside for a second and just look at this bad boy really quick. Now, for closure, I am going to do magnets on this one. So we're going to play around with those today. And we have these 2 flaps that are basically the closure. Of course, you can put pictures on all of them. These are 4.5 by 6.5 finished. They're actually 4.5 by 7 with the, but you saw that in the build. So they're 7 by 4.5, but so that is what we have. Now, my thought was, this one here, I think, even though it doesn't come all the way to the end, that's fine. I think I'm going to actually make this one a pocket. And so we will have a partial pocket. I could even cut it down and have it like a folder pocket. And that might even be cuter. But I was thinking of, you know, with our paper, this has got a lot of surface that has to have paper on it. And that way we will be able to save some of our paper. So I think the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to stick this. Now this here, let me show you. This is the last bottom right, left. This is left hand, yeah. Bottom left piece. Now you could do the other side if you so wanted, but you would have to really maneuver it to get because this piece is the first piece, and then this piece you'd have to really maneuver to get this underneath that one. Doable if you'd prefer that side. But so I'm going to take this last flap and I'm going to put it in my cutter and get back in there. And I'm going to maneuver all of this mess around so that I can kind of give myself a neat cut. So I'm putting the point on the edge, and I'm just going to choose right there. So I didn't cut off any of my length, but that's going to be a nice pocket. But yet I'm not going to have to do the entire surface, nor am I going to have to do front and back on this one. So that's going to save us a little space, a little paper. don't throw that away. Put it in with your black scraps. I keep my cardstock scraps different from my designer paper scraps because most of the time the cardstock scraps, I don't really do a whole lot with them in my patchwork or my just doing my leftover pieces. So, you know, just a thought there that will help keep you a little more organized is to have your cardstock stack, extra cardstock pieces, your leftover pieces in a different spot than with the pieces that we have left from our, okay. Now, and another thing you could do is if you wanted to put all of these into like a baggie, so that you have, you know, just these pieces in your bucket. But I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to push all these back and put this in front. And that way I'll still have everything in the spot, but I can just readily get my leftovers for this. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Good morning, my glue. Good morning. So all I'm going to do is glue right along the bottom here. That's it. And then that will be a Born pocket. It's alive. It's alive. Yes, we love it. We love it. We love it. Now I'm going to try and make this, you know, I'm going to try and make these videos shorter and shorter as you get more, you know, more time with me and start to really kind of learn what's what. Okay, so there, that is done. That is done. That's down. So now we have that pocket. This one here, I thought I would also put a small pocket on. And it's not really less paper. It's just going to add a little bit more interest. Because I'll have this one, and this one, and this one, and then these two. Okay? You don't have to if you don't want to, but I think I am going to. So I'm going to get my little scoreboard, and we're just going to go to town here, guys. 1/2 inch. I'm not going to have it this deep, but I'll cut it later once I know what size I want. So I'm going to put this right up to the edge, but not on the score mark, and see if it goes straight all the way across, and it does. And I'm going to put a little mark right at the end where this flap, I put a mark right at the end of the flap on this paper. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to, right there is good, I think. Make a score mark. Let's double check it before we really burnish it down and cut off the excess. Let's see. So there's that there. And that's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and burnish this. And I'm just going to cut off. This part doesn't really need to be, you know, like super straight or anything. I'm just going to cut that off. Now I want to find out how deep I want it. And I think I'm going to do it right about here. And as soon as I get it cut, I will measure it and you guys can find out what I chose. But you can choose whatever size you like. It's actually, I kind of cut that in half. Now I'm just going to stick this back into my papers and we'll go from there. So there is a nice little pocket. And for those of you who want to know how much it is 1 3/4 inches or 4.5 centimeters. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and trim my little edges off both sides here. Just a little bit. Okay. And we're going to glue this puppy down. And then we're going to start looking at our designer paper and see what we're going to do. I've kind of looked at it last night when I was just kind of doing everything for your homework. Hope you guys don't mind me giving you homework. Hope you don't mind. There we go. Get a nice burnish. It's hard not to work on your surface when you're putting it on your surface. Okay. All right. A little bit of cleanup here. Okay. So now we've got all the things that we were going to do. If you want to take this other one and make a different pocket somewhere, just keep in mind the thickness of everything. Now we do have ourselves a little bit of a rolled edge where we did the 3 score marks together, and that is going to allow this to expand some as it's needed, but it's not expanded right now. But you want to be careful if you're burnishing down that you don't crush those. All right. Okay. Let's see. Magnet. First thing I'm going to do, well, let's see. I was thinking, you know, we want to introduce these throughout the book. And I need some more from my black paper because, let's see, I got smaller ones I can use that are probably not going to be good for much else. So let's get one of these out and we'll make ourselves some squares. So remember now, if you don't have a punch, just measure over 1 inch, cut, measure over 1 inch and cut, and you'll end up with a bunch of squares for you to use as we go through this process. All right. All right, so there's that. So let's see if we match these up. I want to get point to point to point. Okay. So I think something like that will look really good. So I'm going to lay these down. And the first one, I'm going to glue down from point to point. Let me put it on the white so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to match up this point and this point with this edge. That's when I say point to point. That's what I'm talking about. So there we go. There's that one. And then the center 2 we will do in just a minute. And I want to do this other end first. And then we can find the middle for the center 2. So again, I'm going to do point to point at the end of the paper here. And there we go. Now we can take our time and get the center of these so that it looks nice. All right, and that looks good to me right there. So I'm going to leave that one. And I'm going to glue this one down. And I'm not going to push it down real far. because I want to have a little bit of wiggle room. And pull it up, whoops, pull it up so it's even. Okay, there we go. A little bit of mess, but that's all right. That dries clear, and that's going to get covered anyway. Okay, so we've got that. And I think I need to add a little bit of glue in between these that are overlapping, because I didn't put any glue in there, and that will help shore that up just a little bit better. And I am making a glue mess. A glue mess. Just cleaned my bottoms. my glass here. Just cleaned it. Doesn't take long, but that's all right. It doesn't take long to clean it either. Okay. All right, so there's that done. Now, I want to do a magnet. I have told you guys about this, and I've got a video. I did hold these in my Etsy store, but I don't have my Etsy store up right now. But these are thin, very, very thin, like 1/64th, I think it said on the box. So they're very, very, very thin, but they hold magnets. And as long as you're not going through multiple thicknesses, this is a good hold. Okay? And it's a way of saving on magnets. So what I'm going to do, and this is so flat that when you put paper over it, you really don't see it. The other thing I like about it is, as this expands, this piece will obviously start spreading apart. If you put magnet to magnet and it spreads apart enough, you might not get that magnet to hold anymore. Where this, if you put the magnet at the top of this, you're going to have 1/4 of an inch that it can slide down and still be usable. Okay, so that is what we're going to do. I'm going to put my metal piece down first. And let's see. I'm going to put it right about here. I'm just somewhere in the center. And that'll be right about there, which is perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to take the tape off of this. But I'm also going to take a little piece of our score tape and set it down right on. Getting it off your finger is not always the easiest thing. There we go. I'm going to set it down right there. I'll put the magnet down, take the tape off, and now I'm going to press it down and lift it back up. And now we have our magnet exactly where we want it. And the score tape is giving it some added hold. Plus, remember, we're going to have this covered with paper. So, as long as we're not doing multiple layers on this, this will hold very nicely. All right, I'll put that back. Okay, so we got that ready. Now, let's look at our papers. This March, I'm going to want right here. That's going to be that top piece. Probably with a sticker, I don't know yet. And then we have this piece here to format, to have as a pretty element. And then we've got the little scrolls as well. And then this, the things that I want to use this time, I want this. I think that's adorable. I'd like to have the stamps. I definitely want this bird and this bird. And that is, I'm hoping to either keep this one or the postcard. Don't really care which one. And of course, I think I'll try and keep these. But, you know, you only got so much of the other paper that's going to make everything look pretty. I would also love to have this pansy across here. So, lots of things to pull out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these things out. I'm going to cut off my strip, cut this strip out. I'm not going to be ending up with a bunch of long strips, but everything here is pretty short. So I will have this little bit here for strips or a pocket. That'll be good on a pocket. And then I'll have this little area. Well, I'll have this little strip here, and then I'll have all of this. So not too much of the green, which is why I picked this green, so that I could bring more green back into it. And all the stickers are green, okay? On here, I want this one for sure. And I'll do, you know, I'll do what I need with the, I love these. And they're going to be great strips. So I want to have, you know, I was hoping to have it long enough top and bottom. But if I have to split it down the center, I have to split it down the center. And then I want this piece. So there'll be quite a bit of the flower left too, which I'm very happy about because I like that. Okay guys, so I'm going to be right back. I'm going to cut these out and I'll show you what I end up with. Okay, so I have these left in my papers. And those, all right. I cut up a lot, but I'm still going to be able to use all of it. So I'm going to stick these to the side. I cut this sheet off and I said, you know what? This is perfect coloring on here for this. It's got a darker creamy at the bottom and then a lighter at the top. Yeah, it's got a hole in it, but it's paper and it's nice and it's the colors we need. So we're going to use this too. I had one little strip of the stripe one that I cut off, and it's just a partial dark green on one side, but it's the purple strip on the other, so that's really, really nice. I went ahead and just cut out that pansy one on the back. It took off some of the March piece, but I can still use this. It just doesn't have the bottom on it. No big deal. And it took off some of the woman that was on here, and but you know, I'm not going to use her. So, but this is just super cute. I had to have it with the little pansies on it. Okay, and then I got my little green strip, and I got the stamps, and I got the 2 cards that I wanted. All right, so I'm going to put these off to the side as well. So these are all the papers we have to use. Put my little squares over here. Okay. So now, first thing I want to do is get my March paper. I'm going to go ahead and cut the top off of this. Again, it actually has part of this color on it, plus it has that brown and cream color. So we're going to use it. So let's get that cut off right above the perforation. Now, if you have, if you bought the individual sheets, you know, you'll still have the bar to take off, but, and save those, because sometimes there's something on there that you could use. Okay, so we're going to put that in our keep pile as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is just line this up the way I want this to be, and it goes all the way over to the end. right, I think my dishwasher's done. Yeah, I've been doing chores this morning. I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl. So I'm going to make a mark here and a mark here where I'm going to cut. And I think I'm going to just again cut down to here and go across so that I still have my whole sheet to work with. All right, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I wanted to show you, I was trying to figure out what I was going to put on the triangles, or the, you know, the squares that we installed onto our front flap. So this is, you know, I just kind of play around. I decided I think I like the green here and here, and then this here and here. And in order to save a little bit of paper, I'm not using a larger section. I'm using this. It's a little smaller than an inch square, but I am just getting a cut off of it. And that will be enough to have these covered. All right, so we've got that one there, and I'll ink these down, and I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 off my green, ink them down, and glue them on. So I'll be right back. Sorry. Okay, so I did my 2 outside ones first. And I had to cut off just a little bit of the one point so that I kept a black edge on both sides. All right, so just a little FYI on that. And then we're going to lay these over the top of that. Okay. I'm trying to get these videos so they're a little shorter, but still cover everything with you guys. So hopefully you're still getting what you need. There we go. Alrighty then. Now, I want to see if this is still going to cover all of the important stuff that we've got to cover. I did not cut this one quite small enough. This little edge right here. I'm going to see if I can just peel up that little bit of an edge with my pokey tool. Just be gentle and work slowly. Just be gentle and work slowly. Don't want to damage the black underneath. And you don't want to damage the print on the top. So that should make it more better, as my oldest son used to say all the time. It's more better, Mommy. Yes, baby, it is. Now I'll tell him every once in a while, oh, honey, that is more better. But he's 30, so you know. Okay, and I'm going to get some color on this white core. And I don't mind if I get a little hazing. But if you don't want hazing, come on, you know, come from the back side and do it this way. And then you won't get the hazing. This is what I call hazing, when you can see a little bit of the black on the edges. So if you don't want that or too much of that, then just come from the back side. And let's glue this down. Let's see. One thing I didn't do was check and see if there was any brads that I was going to want to use on this. Let me look in my green and my purple. Let's see. There's my purple. And here's my green. So let's see if I have anything that's neato that I just can't live without. And purples to me are so hard because, I guess because I don't use them that often. Now, I do have some bright purple, which could be interesting, but nothing's floating my boat there. Is that it? Yeah, I don't seem to have anything that's just the right color. So that's okay. And then in my green, nope, I'm good. Whoa. Okay, and I don't really have anything here that floats my boat as well, but you know, you guys have what you have, so have some fun with it. I also have these chipboard pieces. See if there's anything. Spring has sprung, but that's the wrong colors. Oh, there's that one. So this is pretty. Okay. So we'll leave that out. Let's see. So that's kind of nice. Now this side, because this is the back of page 1, so this is the side that's near the spine. Putting a thick piece like this right at the spine is not a good idea. So I'm going to lay this over with my other stuff, and I'm going to go ahead and close this off. Yeah, I'm going to close this off and glue it down. It's so exciting. Oh my gosh. So it's starting to get fairly warm here. Well, compared to Florida, it's not hot, but it's hot. It's been, 90, 91, 89, but the humidity levels have only been in like the 60 percentiles, and we're used to 90 degrees up to 100 something. I think last year on my Facebook page I posted it was 104, and 98, 99% humidity. So not a fun thing to deal with. Just not a fun thing to deal with. Now, we're going to leave that like that. And I put this here so that I could see my edges when I was gluing down. Now, the only thing I don't like is I don't have a black edge here. And I really want one right there. So, I am going to get my black marker. And this is a Tombow. What else do I have? Where's my other one? Where's my other one? I got lots of fancy ones here. Whoops. Yeah, I'll use this one. And I'm going to take my ruler. And I'm going to run my pen hopefully right on the outside of this March piece, but on got a little bump right there. Let's see. And a little bump right there. All right. I like that so much better, having that black edge. Okay. So I'm going to leave this out because we'll probably need it again. So you can also do that with a Sharpie, especially if you have like a finer tip Sharpie, but you know, any black marker will work. Most of us have black markers. Most of us. If you don't, put that on your wish list for Christmas or birthday or something. A little something, something. Okay, so now we're going to open this up and we're going to start on this section here. And I think I want this piece to work its way on the whole back, and then I can add a strip like this, and that will really decorate that up, and then leave all of the papers, pretty papers for this and the pocket. Okay, or I could even put this across the top, or you know, something. So yes, we're gonna be doing fine. So the only thing is, because I glued this down, I can't get, let me get my contrast paper. I can't get this piece all the way down. But remember what we did? We cut into the paper to allow it to slide down on the outside of the pocket. So we're going to have to do that again. So I'm going to measure. I've got it all the way down and it's even coming up, so I'm going to measure where I want, or mark where I want to cut there, and then I'm going to mark where I want to cut here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut across this way, and then I'll cut up this way. And where'd my mark go? Did I get that straight? Yes, I did. Okay, and then my other mark is right there. Right there in front of my face. Okay, so let's get this tucked down. Okay, so I didn't do it right. I should have left my length so that I could play around with this. But we will get that covered some way, not to worry. We got the pansies. We can do a strip just across the bottom. Bam, covered up, okay? We can do any kind of strip we want. So we've got this in place. I am going to go ahead and give this a little black edge, even though it's not white core, just because I've got everything else in here having a black edge. And sometimes I do this and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like a nut and sometimes I don't. And Joe's got nuts. Mounds don't, because. Okay. Alrighty, and you see here on these two corners, I forgot to cut it down, and so you're going to see this little edge It's not going to really stand out horribly or anything like that, but you're going to see that little edge because I didn't cut it down. If it's ever on the outside edges, you want to cut it down. Let's see. Pockets over here. Okay. Get up underneath your pocket. Tuck it down. Make sure you got it far enough over. Both sides, even across the top, and burnish. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, see, now that bugs me a little bit, but it's not, I know it's there, so I see it. You know, most people aren't going to pick up on that, but I do. So when it's on the outside edges, especially, you want to, you know, on your flap, how we're doing the little, cutting the little teeny triangle wedges off. Then you don't see those hard corners, you know. Yuck. Anyway, I did it down here, but I didn't, you know, did it down here on this one, but I needed it up there too. So don't forget that when you're putting these on. Hopefully I will remember to tell you. Let me find, where's my note? Where's my note? Oh, it's over there. I'll have to remember that. Okay, guys. Now we're going to get into some fun stuff, and I'm going to just get myself a little organized here and figure out where we're going to start. We've got a pocket. But we got a good beginning. I'll be right back.